Dallas. And that's where we find our CBS 11 Andrea Lucia with the latest details. Andrea?
Yeah, well, hotel guests have told us that this has been described to them by police and by the hotel as an active shooter situation. But I'll tell you, just a few minutes ago, the ambulance pulled up to the door of the hotel and we saw paramedics walk in with a stretcher. Now, that generally indicates that the danger is over because paramedics don't tend to go in front of the SWAT team, which has been in there. But Dallas police have not had a chance to update us, so we're keeping tabs on this. I will say we've counted about at least 24 police units out here surrounding the hotel. We did see SWAT team go inside with their shields and what looked like a battering ram. Some guests have evacuated the hotel. Others have been taking shelter in their room, and among them is a 17-year-old who told his parents he heard a pop pop followed by an announcement over the loudspeaker earlier advising guests in their rooms to lock their doors and to stay inside. Now, that young man is inside, and he's been watching his 13 and his 3-year-old siblings while his parents were out planning his grandfather's funeral. His mother is now out here, and she spoke to us minutes ago.
He's staying calm with his brother and sister, and I told him as soon as we're able to go back in there, we're going to go in there and get him. So, yeah, it's scary. It's scary being a parent out here. Yeah, we're here for one funeral. We don't need any more things going on.
Yeah, very emotional situation, and I'll tell you that's not the only parent that we spoke to who has kids inside there. Again, we're hoping that the danger is over. We saw the paramedics go in, and again, we're speaking very generally here, but that generally does not happen until the danger is over. So we're keeping a watch here. We'll give you an update when we get one. Reporting live here in Dallas, Andrea Lucia, CBS 11 News.
All right, Andrea, we'll check back with you. Thank you very much for that update. Today, we're getting a clear picture of the criminal events that led up to the kidnapping of 13-year-old Siobhan Randall. The teen's body was found in an abandoned Oak Cliff home over the weekend. Also in that house, the body of one of the persons of interest in her disappearance, Michael Titus. We've got live team coverage for you. Gabriel Rojas spoke to the Titus family about his role in Randall's death. But we begin with Dan Haggerty. He's live outside the Lancaster Police Department, where arrest warrants from multiple cities pieced together a chilling string of events.
Yes, 6 arrest warrants, Ken, from here in Lancaster and over in Irving, and they pieced together a story of drugs, robbery, and payback that began a week ago today. It all started last Monday, June 26th. Kendall Perkins says he and 3 other guys robbed LaPortia Polly of at least 22 pounds of marijuana from a Motel 6 in Lancaster. Police believe that Polly, Darius Fields, his cousin Devontae Owens, and Laquan Wilkerson, known in that circle as Owens' bodyguard, are all connected to this marijuana, and that cell phone records show that Owens and Wilkerson kidnapped 13-year-old Siobhan Randall from her home to try and get the marijuana back. Siobhan's cousin is dating Perkins, the man who stole the marijuana. That's how far removed this little girl is. Police arrested the alleged kidnappers, Owen and Wilkerson, on the 28th. Then they arrested Polly and Fields on drug and firearm charges at an Irving motel the next day. It wasn't until Sunday, July 2nd, that the FBI interviewed another person of interest not previously mentioned to the media, Desmond Jones. He led investigators to the home on Keast Boulevard in the bodies of 13-year-old Siobhan and Michael Titus, a man who had been a suspect in the case. And the documents don't detail what police believe Titus's direct involvement with all of this is, though I am hearing that they are looking into his involvement possibly with the initial robbery at that motel that began it all. That's the latest. I'm Dan Haggerty, CBS 11 News.
Thank you, Dan. We're also learning new details about the relationships between those arrested and 19-year-old Michael Titus, whose body was found along with Siobhan Randall. Gabriel Rojas live outside the abandoned home where they were found with what led up to the crimes. Gabriel?
Well, police have now taped off the property surrounding this home where officers recovered those bodies over the weekend. And as people continue to pay their respects, the family of Michael Titus tells us they want to set the record straight. Police identified Titus as one of 4 persons of interest during the search for Siobhan Randall. But while investigators took the others into custody, it was Titus who was found dead with Randall in the abandoned Dallas house. His family members tell us that's because he disobeyed the people responsible for the kidnapping when they ordered him to take part in a drug operation. The court documents Dan reported describe a drug robbery that led to Randall's kidnapping in an effort to recover the stolen drugs. Titus's cousin says the 19-year-old got pulled into the drug world by older friends he admired and who expected him to stand guard over a large stash of drugs. When he failed to do that, Shaquita Dyer says his superiors held him responsible when another man stole the drugs.
It's two victims. Y'all got y'all suspects. Michael Titus was never a suspect. He was always a victim.
Now coming up at 5, hear the urgent warning that Titus's family received that predicted his own death. We're live in Dallas. Gabriel Rojas, CBS 11 News.
Thank you, Gabriel. And there will be 2 separate events tonight for the victims. A vigil and march will be held for Siobhan Randall at the home where she was found, 2208 Keys Boulevard at 6:30. And at the same time, family and friends of Michael Titus will hold their own vigil at the Cummings Recreation Center. Stay with CBS 11 as we continue to find out new information. We will, of course, share any updates online and on air with you.
If you plan on heading out tonight, prepare for some heat. The good news is it will be perfect for watching the fireworks. Here's a live picture right now from Kaboom Town in Addison, where the gates have just opened to people there. This is one of the biggest Independence Day celebrations in the country, and it's not just fireworks. There's music, food, and even an air show with vintage airplanes out there. You can also expect a big crowd if you plan on heading out. It's estimated that about 500,000 people will watch the fireworks show.
Well, we're working hard, but we're still having fun, and it's for a good cause. So we got the great music, we got best worlds.
That woman you just heard from, she spent hours working in the heat to get everything ready for today's festivities. She says she can't wait for tonight's celebrations and for the fireworks show. That's when the fun really begins at Boomtown. Well, tonight's weather will be perfect for enjoying yourself outdoors and for watching those fireworks that we've been talking about. Chief Meteorologist Scott Paget now with a look at tonight's forecast.
Ken, did you see that sign? It said funnel cake fries.
What?
Yeah, I want to head out there myself. And also I saw that ice sitting in the tub and I was like, yeah, I want some of that too because it's warm. And here's your fireworks forecast for tonight at Kaboom Town in Addison, about 89 degrees, feeling warmer than that right around 9:30, but thankfully partly cloudy skies. It's going to be warm and humid, and any storms should wait until after the midnight hour to work their way here into North Texas. So I think we should be okay for fireworks tonight. But I am tracking a little bit of rain on the radar right now, mainly out towards the west, out near Throckmorton, drifting its way down towards the south and the east, but really dying out, working into a little bit more stable air that is sitting overhead. But you can see just over the border up in parts of Oklahoma, they do have a severe thunderstorm watch. So we'll see possibly a complex of storms developing there and then working closer towards North Texas overnight. But look at this. Right now, it is 93 at DFW, feeling like 102, and 94 in Fort Worth, feeling like 104. The next 7 days, we warm up even more. I'll walk you through that coming up in just a bit.
We'll see you in a bit, Scott. Thank you. Well, if you're looking for a way to celebrate the 4th, we have a list of cities holding events today and tomorrow. It's on our website, cbsdfw.com. Just head on over there right now.
A man is in the hospital after he was pulled out of a trench in Dallas today. We shared this breaking news with you this morning, and it happened at a construction site at the Northwood Country Club. Investigators say the man was in a trench when the walls collapsed, trapping him up to his waist. It took rescuers nearly 3 hours to free him. OSHA is now investigating. Well, there's one fewer candidate in the running for Dallas Police Chief. Current Grand Prairie Police Chief Steve Dye has withdrawn from consideration. In a statement, he said that he was honored and grateful to be considered, but decided to opt out of the opportunity because of, quote, my deep devotion to the city of Grand Prairie and the Grand Prairie Police Department and in the best interest of my family. The remaining 7 finalists begin their interviews next Monday. This Friday will mark 1 year since the deadly ambush on police in downtown Dallas. 1 DART officer and 4 DPD officers were killed. Memorial ceremonies will begin at 11 a.m. at El Centro College, and later that evening, another ceremony will be held at City Hall at 6:30. Several other events will take place over the weekend, and for more information, you can visit our website, cbsdfw.com.
President Trump spent at least part of his day today working from his Bedminster, New Jersey golf club. The president is preparing for a trip to Germany for the G20 summit later this week, but he also took some time to tweet about a sick little boy in London. Mola Lenghi has the details from the White House.
It's been a working weekend for President Trump from his Bedminster, New Jersey golf club. The president is checking in with world leaders ahead of the G20 summit later this week in Germany. That included calls with Chinese President Xi Jinping and Japanese Prime Minister Shinzo Abe to discuss the threat from North Korea. President Trump is also preparing for a much-anticipated meeting with Russian President Vladimir Putin on the sidelines of the G20 summit. Monday, Russia said it is growing impatient for the U.S. to return 2 embassy compounds seized by American officials back in December. The Obama administration expelled 35 Russian diplomats and shuttered the estates in Maryland and Long Island, New York, in response to Russian meddling in the presidential election. President Trump also took to Twitter Monday, weighing in on a controversial court decision in the UK. The president tweeted, "If we can help little Charlie Gard, as per our friends in the UK and the Pope, we would be delighted to do so. Charlie Gard is a terminally ill British infant whose parents wanted to bring him to the U.S. for trial therapy. Courts denied the request and said the 10-month-old could be removed from life support against his parents' wishes because further treatment would cause significant harm. The ruling sparked protests and gained worldwide attention." Mola Lenghi for CBS News, the White House.
The man who inspired people around the world to dump buckets of ice over their heads for ALS needs your good thoughts today.
Then, looking for justice, a brand new volunteer fire department destroyed less than a month after it opened. How it was destroyed.
And the importance of powering down, the dangerous health effects late-night tech use has on teenagers.
And we are continuing to keep our eyes on some breaking news coming out of Dallas, where the SWAT team has surrounded a hotel on Alpha near Coit. We just saw emergency responders put a man into an ambulance. We have a crew there on the scene, and we will have a live update for you after the break.
The good news? They won. The bad news? They didn't take off their cleats when they came inside. Don't worry. Call Dower Clean. Our experts clean, restore, seal, and protect every type of flooring in your home. Carpet, tile, wood, stone, even polished concrete. So when life catches up with your home,
call 267-8433 because the next best thing to do is Dower Clean.
Summertime is about vacation, barbecuing, and having fun. Now, this isn't fun. Up on a ladder, cleaning out the gutters in the heat. Stop doing that. Give us a call here at Belden Leaf Guard for the gutter that never clogs, guaranteed. We'll bring our factory on wheels right to your home, make your Leaf Guard system on site. It's a seamless system. Take a look at this. As water goes in, leaves, pine needles, and other debris roll off. Leaf Guard eliminated the fears for Elizabeth of being on the ladder.
My husband and I are both getting up there in age, and we don't need to be crawling around on ladders. So for that, I think it's been a great investment.
Remember, we offer a lifetime transferable warranty. All of our installers are employees of the company. You can count on Belden Leaf Guard here in Texas since 1946. Save 77% on labor on Leaf Guard if you call. Now you get a bonus, a $200 Visa gift card with purchase and a $25 gas card with your estimate. Call 1-800-GUTTERS.
We're looking for a few brave individuals who can handle the rush of Wavebreaker. Inspired by the heroic SeaWorld rescue team. Hang on tight because your mission calls for pulse-pounding launches over land and sea on the only jet ski-style coaster in North America. Wavebreaker. And for even more thrills, dive into fun at Aquatica. Experience the rush of joining the SeaWorld rescue team today with the SeaWorld Vacation Package. Kids stay and play free.
Award-winning interface. Award-winning design. Award-winning engine. The Volvo XC90, the most awarded luxury SUV of the century. Visit your Volvo dealer today and get up to $4,500 in allowances.
Well, howdy, I'm Al Banker, and we've been helping Texans find great rates and coverage for their auto and home insurance for almost 50 years. Give us a call today at 1-800-THANKS-AL or go online at thanksal.com. At Al Banker Insurance, we've got you covered.
CBS 11, the ones for Texas.
SWAT officers have surrounded a hotel in Dallas. Our Andrea Lucia is there with new details on this breaking news story that we've been following for you from the top of the hour. What's the latest there, Andrea?
Yeah, well, a lot of activity in just the last few minutes, and we just watched a man being driven away here. We've got video. He was brought out of the Wyndham Suites Hotel here in Dallas in handcuffs by police. Police have not yet told us who he is or updated us on the situation, but minutes before he was brought out, we've got another video of this guy. He was brought out, this other gentleman was brought out on a stretcher. Again, we're waiting to find out from police who these two gentlemen are. What we do know is that hotel guests have told us that there was an active shooter situation here. There were some guests who were evacuated, some who are still in their room. But after seeing these two gentlemen walk out, we do believe the danger is over. Again, we're waiting for Dallas police to brief us on the situation. But again, we've got one gentleman in handcuffs, and we have another that left here in an ambulance, brought out of the hotel on a stretcher. Back to you.
Thank you, Andrea, for those updates. Vandalism at one North Texas volunteer fire department has the firefighters who helped build it fuming. Yona Gavino has the latest on the investigation, new at 4.
This volunteer fire department is hoping for justice after surveillance video captured a driver destroying part of its property. Broken concrete, a trail of tire marks, even surveillance video have led Italy police no closer to finding the culprit.
If we can get those DOT numbers, we can absolutely identify who the truck belongs to.
Police Chief Mike Taylor says on June 16th around 1:30 a.m., a semi-driver backed into a flower bed, busted a parking curb, and damaged the irrigation system.
I don't think he intentionally turned in here to cause any damage, but at some point, he absolutely knew that what he was doing was destroying property.
The carelessness of this crime has personal sting for the firefighters who volunteered time and sweat to help build it.
So they're very proud of it, you know, and it meant a lot to them, as it did the rest of the community of Italy. They were very proud of their new fire station. They were a little angry, like I said, but they're ready to move on and get it fixed and get back to business.
The driver caused around $7,000 worth of damage. The chief tells me no word yet when repairs will be made. In Ellis County, Yona Gavino, CBS 11 News.
The Massachusetts man who inspired people to dump buckets of ice water over their heads to raise money to fight Lou Gehrig's disease is back in the hospital himself. That's 32-year-old Pete Freites. He's credited with raising more than $250 million. A Facebook post from his family is now asking for prayers. It says he's back in the hospital battling ALS. Freites, a Boston College star athlete, was first diagnosed in 2012. The disease weakens muscles and impairs physical functioning. There is no known cure. Actress and TV host Maria Menounos says she has a benign brain tumor and is stepping down from her E! News job. She tells People magazine she had surgery last month to remove the golf ball-sized growth. The 39-year-old says her face is still numb from surgery, but it should be back to normal soon. Doctors told her that there's a 6 to 7% chance the tumor will come back. Her diagnosis came at the same time that her mother was battling stage 4 brain cancer.
It's summertime, maybe a good time to encourage teens to put down the phone and head outdoors. A new study in the Journal of Child Development shows nighttime use of cell phones can increase anxiety and depression in teenagers and reduce their self-esteem. This is the first study that shows a direct link between screen time and mental health. Psychologist and CBS News contributor Lisa D'Amour says even if they're just texting or on social media, it can still do harm.
Even if they're having a great time, even if they're being super appropriate on their phone, if the phone is getting in the way of the sleep they need, it still causes harm.
She has these suggestions for parents. Start early by instituting certain habits. Enforce digital curfews. That means no phones after a certain hour. And put the family charging station in the parents' room. Also, prepare yourself for resistance.
Let's talk a little bit weather right now on this extended July 4th holiday weekend, because we're at work, Scott Padgett, but there's so many people out there that are out there being hot.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I was giggling a little bit. I was like, I need my mom at my house to take my phone away because I just sit there and I do this. And I'm like, why am I looking at cats playing with plants at 3 in the morning? Anyway, all right, as you are maybe stepping out of the door today thinking, is it going to rain cats and dogs? Not really. It's definitely warm. We have some rain that's out towards the west, some shower activity near Throckmorton right now, drifting its way down to the southeast. But we've seen a pretty nice day today for our extended weekend, but it's been very warm with our temperatures near average, but feeling warmer than that. Right now in Little Elm, it is 95 degrees, 94 in Fort Worth. We have 97 in Benbrook. Garland, you're sitting at 90 degrees to about 87 in McKinney. And when you factor in the humidity, it feels like the triple digits. It feels like 102 at DFW, 100 in Denton to 101 in Duncanville to near the 100-degree mark, almost all of our reporting stations. So definitely stay hydrated. You're going to need a lot of water as we go through the afternoon hours. In the next couple of days, we're sitting at 87 in Sherman, a little bit more cloud cover as we saw some storms pretty much die out. If you're heading out to Globe Life Park for tonight, for the game, temperatures are going to be in the low 90s to the upper 80s. It's going to be a muggy evening. Eventually, by late tonight, near midnight, we might see some showers and storms working their way into North Texas coming out of Oklahoma. But generally, the game should be dry, but definitely is going to be very warm. And then going into tomorrow, we're going to be seeing another chance of showers in the forecast. As you see on the future sky forecast, we have some storms developing in the Panhandle, out towards our west, also in parts of Oklahoma, that will drift their way down to the southeast. And by tomorrow morning, in the early morning hours, 2, 3, 4 o'clock, maybe some showers around, dying out. And the same story when we start out your Tuesday for the 4th of July. So hour by hour tomorrow, rain chances at 20% in the morning, tapering off a bit, and then into the afternoon with the heat of the day, rain chances 20, maybe 30%. Not all of us will see the rain. I know none of us want to see the rain on our holiday. We want to be at the pool. We want to be at the lake. But just keep weather aware. Have that CBS DFW weather app with you so you know if any showers and storms have popped up. It's going to feel like 104 to 105 in the afternoon hours. And you can see by about 3 to 4 o'clock, maybe some leftover showers and storms developing along some leftover boundaries from the storms in the morning, and then still going into tomorrow night, maybe some isolated storms around. We had that same story this morning. In the next few days, that is going to be our weather pattern. In the afternoon hours, we'll see some more showers developing, and then going into the early morning hours on Wednesday, possibly the same story as showers and storms develop to the northwest, drift their way on in. So it's going to be kind of a wash and repeat the next few days. I'm expecting about a 20% chance overnight, maybe a 30% chance tomorrow afternoon with high temperatures at 96 degrees. Both Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, rain chances sitting at 20%. Morning temperatures in the upper 70s. And then as our rain chances come down, an area of high pressure builds in the upper levels, we heat up. Saturday, 99 for my forecast high and 98 on Sunday. Remember, the average high this time of the year should be 94 degrees. So Ken and Gilma, a pretty good 4th of July for tonight. Not too bad. And tomorrow, a lot of us will see that sunshine. A few of us will see those isolated storms pop up.
We will take it. Thank you, Scott. Samsung's recalled Galaxy Note 7s are getting a new life. How the company's reusing the smartphone. Then,
50 is your chance.
You're going to love this one. You're going to meet a 7-year-old spending her summer making money. How her lemonade stand turned into a food truck. We'll be right back.
CBS 11 News, your Texas weather experts.
Clogged gutters cause more damage than you might think, not just to the roof or the landscaping or the siding, but water spilling over your gutters, of all things, can damage your door jambs, and you may have to replace your door entirely. Leaf Guard, the same great product you've known for years. Belden Leaf Guard, call now and take advantage of our summer sale. 77% off labor. A bonus, a $200 Visa gift card with purchase, and a $25 gas card with your in-home estimate. 1-800-GUTTERS.
Howdy, I'm Al Banker.
Well, you know, there are a lot of imposters running around trying to pretend they're from Texas, and they claim they know what's best for Texans. I really doubt it. Well, howdy, I'm Al Banker, and we've been helping Texans find great rates and coverage for their auto and home insurance for almost 50 years, and we can do the same for you. Give us a call today at 1-800-THANKS-AL or go online at thanksal.com. At Al Banker Insurance, we've got you covered.
Life is good, and at Robeson Ranch, a Robeson Resort community for active adults, it just keeps getting better. Come join us for our 4th of July celebration event. Discover stunning models featuring innovative designs. Enjoy complimentary food, giveaways, and a patriotic parade. Plus, discover the exceptional resort-style amenities. Visit robeson.com/event for details and times. Robeson Ranch, a life as big as Texas.
For the cataract patient, there's a variety of lifestyle lenses that are available, one of which is called the blended vision intraocular lens, and it's designed to provide that patient with great distance, intermediate, and near vision while reducing their dependence on glasses.
For more information, call 1-800-714-2020 now to schedule your VIP cataract consultation. 1-800-714-2020.
Climate Evangelista Eye Center. Better vision for the young at heart.
This asteroid, this is a planet killer.
we have the brightest minds working.
We're not waiting for the government to save us.
Maybe I can save billions.
I want to save everyone.
Salvation premieres CBS July 12th.
The National Multicultural Western Heritage Museum presents the Day of the American Cowboy Weekend, July 21st through the 24th. Don't miss the Hall of Fame induction banquet honoring country and Western legends Billy and Pam Minnick of Billy Bob's Texas. Samsung is launching a new phone made from recalled Galaxy Note 7s. The refurbished, less expensive phone will be available in South Korea later this week. It's being called the Galaxy Note FE, short for Fan Edition. It'll come with updated software and a new battery. Samsung was forced to recall the Galaxy Note 7 because the device would catch on fire. There are no plans for the phone to be sold in the U.S.
Forget about a lemonade stand. A 7-year-old girl in Arkansas has her very own food truck. Kylie's lemonade stand is the brainchild of her mother. Gabrielle Williams says that her daughter was having a lot of success with her lemonade stand in their yard, so she upgraded it to a food truck.
It's been a great experience for her everywhere she goes. People are like, oh, that's the little girl with the lemonade stand. So, like I said, she thinks she's kind of famous right now, so.
She's kind of a big deal. The signature item, get this, is a pineapple snow cone, but people can also order hot dogs, nachos, or other frozen treats. An entrepreneur at age 7.
Yeah, no kidding. She needs to bring that food truck down here with that icy looking thing.
Yeah,
we could sure use it with the heat here, right?
That's an idea. She'd be pretty popular around here.
Especially on this weekend. She's got hot dogs as well. Pretty cool stuff there. Well, spending time outside this summer could be dangerous for some people. If you or someone you know has an allergy to bee stings, there may not be enough vaccines to protect you from a deadly reaction. We're going to talk about what doctors say you can do to protect yourself.
And we're keeping our eye on breaking news out of Dallas, where SWAT members have removed 2 men from a hotel. The details next.
With multiple HD cameras and wireless live technology, our fleet of Mobile 11 vehicles are everywhere and ready to go no matter when news breaks. It's how we cover news in North Texas. Mobile 11, powered by Ford and your North Texas Ford dealers.
The Ford Summer Sales Event is on.
Looks a little tight. Here, I'll park it.
Dad, relax.
Whoa. You kids have it way too easy these days.
Take on summer right with Ford, America's best-selling brand. Now with summer's hottest offer. Get 0% for 72 months plus an additional $1,000 on top of your trade-in. Celebrate July 4th with 0 for 72 plus an additional $1,000 trade assist cash on Escape, Focus, Fusion, and Edge during the Ford Summer Sales Event.
8 out of 10 things to go wrong with a home in most cases have to do with water damage. That's where we come in here at Belden Leaf Guard. Leaf Guard, the only seamless one-piece rainwater management system, earned the Good Housekeeping seal not once but 10 years in a row. It's not a gutter cover like the other guys, goes over the old gutter, or a screen or mesh that goes over the old gutter. With those guys, you get half a new system. With us, you get a completely new system for virtually the same money, and Debbie likes Leaf Guard.
I would definitely refer Leaf Guard to my friends because they're no hassle. It takes all the danger of trying to get up there and clean them yourself.
Call Belden Leaf Guard now. We've been here in Texas since 1946. Leaf Guard, the gutter that never clogs, guaranteed. Guaranteed savings right now, 77% off labor. A $200 Visa gift card is a bonus with purchase. Last chance in this program to call to get the gift with estimate, a $25 gas card, 1-800-GUTTERS.
And the wonderful thing about God is He doesn't cause us to measure up and then choose us. God takes our inadequate areas of life and He uses them to do something in our life that's worthwhile.
Look
at these. They're valuable rooms-to-go coupons in your newspaper. Good July 1st through July 4th. Coupons that save you big money on great-looking furniture. 4 days only. This Saturday through Tuesday at Rooms to Go. So find them and bring them along. Save a ton of extra money and look for the incredibly low interest-free monthly payments throughout the store. I'm talking really low. So buying's easier than ever. That's July 1st through Tuesday, July 4th. 4 great days to shop Rooms to Go. Get extra savings with bonus coupons.
During the summer's best sales event, you can do endless online research about the XT5. Read all about the available cut and sewn leather interior, intuitive technology, and road trip worthy legroom. But really, there's nothing like experiencing it for yourself. You can drive a car, or you can drive a Cadillac. Now during the summer's best sales event, get this low mileage lease on this Cadillac XT5 from around $389 per month, or purchase with 0% APR.
Live from Dallas and Fort Worth, this is CBS 11 News at 4. The ones for Texas.
Right now at 4:30, we continue to follow breaking news out of Dallas.
Yeah, there's a SWAT situation at a hotel on Alpha near Coit. All of this leading to the evacuation of some guests there. In the past 20 minutes, we can tell you that we saw a man being rolled out on a stretcher and then put onto an ambulance. Now, we don't know who he is or how badly he's hurt. Shortly after that, though, a man in a gray shirt was led out of the hotel. He was in handcuffs. There's a video. Again, we don't know what happened inside or the relationship. Witnesses told our Andrea Lucia that he heard several pops, followed by an announcement over the loudspeaker advising guests in their rooms to lock their doors and to stay inside. Of course, we do have a crew still on the ground there working all of the details for you. As soon as we get new information, we'll get it over to you. Celebrating the 4th of July outdoors brings new fears this year for people allergic to stinging insects.
A shortage of vaccines has left them unprotected against potentially deadly allergic reactions. Joel Thomas is live at Trinity Park with the details. Joel?
Yeah, we've seen a lot of people out here just enjoying their time off, playing with the kids, picnicking, cooking out. But for some people we've met just sitting outside, they're never completely at ease. People who have severe allergic reactions to stinging insects are always on guard. They can take a series of allergy shots to protect them long term. But one of the companies that actually draws venom from the insects to make the shots closed due to problems at the factory. Supplies plummeted overnight. People can still carry an EpiPen to give themselves an emergency shot if they're stung, but curing the allergy long term is on hold.
Once they get vaccinated, then they're through. You know, they walk around the golf course and not worry about it and not have to carry a can of Raid in their pocket. But that's been short. So we had people on treatment, they couldn't get it anymore, and we had people that are waiting to start.
But there is some good news about when those shots will return. I'll tell you about that. Plus, introduce you to some people to show you the extremes they'll go to protect themselves from being stung. Coming up tonight at 6. Reporting live, Joel Thomas, CBS 11 News.
See you at 6, Joel. Thank you very much. Meanwhile, a mosquito caught in a trap in the city of Plano has tested positive for West Nile. Crews will spray that area beginning at 9 p.m. on Thursday. They're going to focus their efforts near West Parker Road on the North Thunderbird Lane on the east, Raywood Circle on the south, and Millstream Drive on the west.
If you plan on squeezing in a workout during the holiday, you should know the Trinity trails in Fort Worth around Panther Island are closed, and that's because of the setup for Fort Worth's 4th, the city's annual 4th of July celebration, of course. The trails will reopen on Wednesday, and if you're going to enjoy any outdoor events like watching the fireworks, be prepared, because it's going to be hot. Chief Meteorologist Scott Padgett has a first look at tonight's forecast.
And Gilma, we are seeing a little bit of rain right now on the radar, but I think we should be all right. Maybe a small rain chance here or there, sitting at a 20% chance. Looking at the radar right now, any rain is well out to the west. It is going to be a muggy night tonight, so definitely keep that in mind, but it's the beginning of July. We're used to that with temperatures topping out in the mid-90s for us. As you take a look at the time-lapse video for today, we saw that mix of sun and clouds greeting us as we were running our errands, and maybe you're trying to get those last-minute items for your family barbecue. And we switched the camera view to the Margaret Hunt Hill Bridge, where everyone's going to be down there tonight looking at the fireworks. Our high today, 94 degrees, which is right where we're supposed to be for this time of the year. So we're going to be seeing temperatures holding in the mid to the low 90s the next few hours all across parts of the Metroplex. If you're about to step on out of the door, 92 degrees by 6. By 7, 90 degrees, and then by 9, 87, partly cloudy skies on the way. But overnight tonight, maybe some showers and storms working their way back into the North Texas. And then also for tomorrow, rain chances for your 4th of July. I'll show you the future sky forecast of when we can expect the rain and what that means for your holiday plans. All that coming up in about 5 to 10 minutes.
See you then, Scott. Thanks. Tennis star and 5-time Wimbledon champ Venus Williams left a news conference in tears today. She was asked a question about a car accident she was involved in that led to the death of a 78-year-old man.
There are really no words to describe like how devastating, and yeah, I'm completely speechless, and it's just maybe I should go.
Yeah, we can rise. Obviously, she was overcome by emotion there. Florida police found the 37-year-old at fault. On Friday, she posted a message onto Facebook saying how heartbroken she is about the incident. Williams won her first round match today.
A man accused of kidnapping a Chinese exchange student attending the University of Illinois Urbana is being held in jail without bond until his trial. Brent Christensen made his first appearance in federal court this morning following his arrest on Friday. Yingying Zhang was in a doctoral program at the university where Christensen had graduated in May. Tony DeCoppel shows us the disturbing evidence that led to Christensen's arrest.
Surveillance video allegedly shows the moment Brent Christensen pulls over to talk to Yingying Zhang. A minute later, Zhang gets into Christensen's black Saturn and they drive away. Police determined the sunroof and cracked hubcap on the car in the surveillance video matched Christensen's 2008 Saturn. Lance Cooper was Christensen's former academic advisor in the physics graduate program at the University of Illinois.
There was nothing unusual about him. He was a bit quiet, but he interacted well with the students. He was quite a good teacher.
During a June 15th interview with the FBI, Christensen admitted to giving an Asian woman a ride. According to the complaint, Christensen said he believed he made a wrong turn because the female became panicked. He then claimed he let her out of the car. During a search of Christensen's phone, they discovered he had visited a forum in April called Abduction 101. Investigators began monitoring Christensen's activities one day after he was interviewed. The day before his arrest, investigators recorded Christensen explaining how he had kidnapped Zhang, took her back to his apartment, and held her against her will. Zhang's family flew to Illinois after she disappeared.
They kept their hope up until the news came out that the suspects are arrested, and the FBI presumed that Ying probably won't be alive.
Zhang came to the University of Illinois Urbana in April as a visiting scholar. This fall, she had planned to join the school's graduate program and get her PhD. Tony DeCoppel, CBS News, New York.
In Germany, police say 18 people have died and dozens others are hurt after a bus crashed into a truck and burst into flames. The accident happened near Münchberg, Germany in the height of morning rush hour. Authorities say the bus was carrying a group of German senior citizens. 2 of the injured are in life-threatening conditions. President Trump is offering to help a British couple whose baby boy is dying from a rare genetic disease. Courts in the UK have sided with doctors and refused to allow the couple to travel to the U.S. so their 10-month-old can seek experimental treatment. A court ruled the child can remain on life support until midnight tonight. An American hospital has offered to treat the baby for free.
Part of a hospital in the Bronx is still closed as police continue investigating a deadly shooting. And today we heard from a nurse who was trapped in the building during the rampage.
I couldn't abandon my patient. I was scared and she was scared, but I had to be brave for her.
The shooter, a former doctor, killed a doctor and hurt 6 others before turning the gun on himself. One survivor was discharged from the hospital today. The others are still recovering.
Well, this is the man. Pennsylvania police shot and killed a teenage girl in a fit of road rage. 28-year-old David Desper is charged with murdering 18-year-old Bianca Roberson. DeMarco Morgan has new details on how investigators say this attack unfolded.
Bianca Roberson's parents sat in silence on Sunday as authorities announced the arrest of the man that allegedly killed their daughter.
Bianca Roberson, 18 years old, gunned down because somebody didn't want to give way. Somebody didn't want her to merge into a lane of traffic.
David Desper turned himself into police early Sunday morning. He was arrested and charged with first and third-degree murder, possession of an instrument of crime, and reckless endangerment. Tom Hogan is the Chester County District Attorney.
This appears to be a savage, senseless, and brutal act from one human being to another human being.
According to police, Desper and Roberson were attempting to merge into a single lane of a suburban Philadelphia highway Wednesday afternoon. As they drove side by side, jockeying for position, Desper pulled out a gun and fired at Roberson, striking her in the left side of the head. Roberson was killed instantly. After a 3-day manhunt, investigators recovered Desper's red pickup truck and at Desper's home a .40 caliber handgun suspected of being used in the shooting. According to court documents, Desper had a permit to carry the gun.
He just shot my baby. He just shot my baby.
Roberson was apparently on her way back from shopping when the incident occurred. She was preparing for her first year at Jacksonville University.
She was a good girl, loved by many, never bothered anybody. She was just a sweet girl.
A source close to Desper's family told CBS News they are devastated. His attorney declined to comment, except to say that Desper voluntarily surrendered himself to police. He is being held in the Chester County Prison without bail. DeMarco Morgan, CBS News, New York.
Such a heart-wrenching story. Well, one person is recovering after a hot air balloon crashed near Walt Disney World. The basket, which was carrying 17 people, ended up in a water retention pond. The Florida Highway Patrol says the pilot had to make an emergency landing and crashed into the pond while aiming for a nearby field. One person was hurt, but we're told that person is expected to be okay. Well, many North Texans will head to the lake to celebrate the July 4th holiday.
That's right. And all the rain that we have gotten in the last couple of weeks, that's making a big difference out there. Chief Meteorologist Scott Padgett back now with another look at what to expect.
And Gemma, I'm excited to go out on your boat. You have one, right?
Right.
Yeah, sure. As we take a look for us, if you are lucky enough to be able to head out to the lakes, have a lake house, you know what? We're doing all right. As far as the drought is concerned right now, our far northeast counties, a moderate drought showing up. We had some rain overnight into the early morning hours helping us out. But take a look at the lake levels. If you didn't see it last night, we're pretty much at 90% or above across parts of the Metroplex. Lake Tawakoni, 93% full, 100% of Lake Waxahachie. Joe Pool Lake also 100%. So that's some great news for this holiday weekend. Widening out the view, the majority of our lakes doing really great. Cooper Lake, one of the lowest, but still really nice at 80%. Lake Texoma also at 100% of full. So that's really nice compared to the drought that we had a couple of years ago. Of course, definitely make sure they have plenty of sunscreen on. Stay weather aware by always downloading our CBS DFW weather app. Small rain chances in the forecast for tomorrow. I'll walk you through that, plus the remainder of your 7-day forecast coming up.
All right, Scott, thank you. Hot dogs and hamburgers, they're out, sort of. We're going to talk about the new meat substitute that actually tastes like beef.
Plus, Top Gun 2 heading back into the danger zone when the long-awaited sequel will hit theaters. But first, here's a look at what's on CBS tonight.
Look at these. They're valuable rooms-to-go coupons in your newspaper. Good July 1st through July 4th. Coupons that save you big money on great-looking furniture. 4 days only. This Saturday through Tuesday at Rooms to Go. So find them and bring them along. Save a ton of extra money and look for the incredibly low interest-free monthly payments throughout the store. I'm talking really low. So buying's easier than ever. That's July 1st through Tuesday, July 4th. 4 great days to shop Rooms to Go. Get extra savings with bonus coupons.
Affordable dentures and implants. What are implants? They lock in a denture so it doesn't move. They're life-changing. Can we afford them? We can now. They made implants affordable. You do look great. We feel even better. Time to get our smile back. Time to get our life back.
Lock down your denture with affordable implants. Call 1-800-2-IMPLANT today. One call and one day can change your tomorrow.
Life is good, and at Robeson Ranch, a Robeson resort community for active adults, it just keeps getting better. Come join us for our 4th of July celebration event. Discover stunning models featuring innovative designs. Enjoy complimentary food, giveaways, and a patriotic parade. Plus, discover the exceptional resort-style amenities. Visit robeson.com/event for details and times. Robeson Ranch, a life as big as Texas.
Award-winning interface. Award-winning design. Award-winning engine. The Volvo XC90, the most awarded luxury SUV of the century. Visit your Volvo dealer today and get up to $4,500 in allowances.
This summer at WinStar, the good times are rolling on, and the big names are rolling in. Steven Tyler and the Loving Mary Band, Keith Urban, live under the stars in the amazing Coliseum at WinStar. And to top it off, 2 huge nights of the PBR Built Ford Tough Series. Let the good times roll all summer at WinStar World Casino and Resort.
Welcome back. A SpaceX Dragon capsule that delivered supplies to the International Space Station splashed down in the Pacific Ocean.
And as you can see, slowly moving away, Dragon released.
Dragon release. This is video of the craft first detaching to start its return to Earth. After the space station's robotic arm released it, the capsule completed a 5.5-hour journey. SpaceX announced it hit the water off the California coast early this morning. It will now be recovered, and the company expects to reuse many of the parts on it. Meantime, a SpaceX Falcon 9 rocket launch was aborted Sunday because of a last-second computer glitch. It was supposed to carry a communications satellite into orbit. The satellite is part of a project aimed at providing improved broadband, video, and mobile communication services to a number of areas, including Eastern North America, Europe, and Africa. SpaceX plans to try another launch sometime tonight.
A recall from Home Depot today. The store says some of its vanity light fixtures can detach and fall onto people. The recall impacts 3 and 4 light models from Design Solutions International with Home Depot. The home improvement store received more than 100 reports of falling fixtures, with at least 2 people getting hurt. Replacements are being offered. In Health Watch, the age of the man may have more of an impact on women delivering a baby than previously thought. Doctors in Boston looking at in vitro fertilization say the chance of a live birth falls as a man ages, and that women between 35 and 40 trying to conceive significantly benefit from a male partner under 30.
Well, millions of Americans are going to be grilling and chowing down on hot dogs and hamburgers tonight, and even tomorrow. It is the July 4th weekend, right? But there's a growing demand now for meat substitutes, things like veggie burgers. As Hannah Daniels tells us, companies are making vegetable-based patties that actually taste like beef.
Right now, we're making the Impossible Burger.
It's a concept many thought was impossible, including Jonathan Lemon, culinary director at Bear Burger Restaurants. A burger that cooks like a burger, tastes like a burger, and is juicy like a burger. But there's no meat in this patty.
So when the company first approached you and said, you're going to come up with a burger that's plant-based, what was your reaction?
I thought it was going to taste terrible, and then once I cooked it and messed around with it for a couple of weeks, I was like, wow, this is awesome.
Impossible Foods is the company that approached Lemon. COO David Lee says the burger is made from a high-tech process of pulling protein from plants.
We have a protein from a wheat plant, a protein from a coconut essence that gives it its juiciness. It's why it sizzles. There's a protein from a potato.
The demand for meat substitutes is on the rise. Sales in the U.S. are up from $812 million in 2011 to more than $1 billion last year. Products include everything from veggie burgers to veggie chicken nuggets. But more companies are making products that taste like meat. Whole Foods sells Beyond Burgers, but not only in the vegetarian aisle, they're also right next to the beef.
Oh, yeah.
Right now, the Impossible Burger is sold only in restaurants, but how does it taste? We gave this group of diners one half of the Impossible Burger and half of a regular cheeseburger.
Tastes pretty close to a real burger. It's really hard to taste the difference between them. They taste almost exactly the same.
It's that taste that companies are banking on. Hannah Daniels, CBS News, New York.
Oh, many of you are already likely firing up the grill this week, but health experts warn the summer season is also the time that they see more food poisoning cases. They say it happens all the time. Harmful bacteria can actually multiply faster when it's hot outside. The USDA says to stay safe, some basic things you can do here. Clean your hands before prepping the food. Keep raw food separate. Cook everything to a safe internal temperature and chill food promptly. They also recommend getting a food thermometer, something local pit masters agree.
165 is usually a preferred temperature that you're going to want to get there. You want to stick it into the fattest part of the meat, which is going to be where you can get the most accurate reading of your internal temp.
Well, the USDA also reminds that anything perishable should not sit out at room temperature for more than 2 hours.
Actor James Cromwell is sentenced to 7 days in jail after he refused to pay fines related to his arrest at an environmental protest. In 2015, the 77-year-old was found guilty of obstructing traffic at the construction site of a New York State natural gas-fired power plant. The Oscar-nominated actor has appeared in more than 50 films, including Babe and The Green Mile. The eldest daughter of Demi Moore and Bruce Willis is celebrating a big accomplishment. In a post on Instagram, Rumor Willis opened up saying that she's been sober for 6 months. Willis went on to write, while she's not perfect, she's proud of her accomplishment. She also encouraged followers to be gentle with themselves.
Well, if you feel the need for speed, here's a date you're going to want to mark into your calendars, July 12th, 2019.
Rock and roll!
So what's that date about? Well, that's where the sequel to Top Gun will hit theaters. That'll be 33 years since the original one came out. Tom Cruise is set to return, this time as a flight instructor for a new generation of young pilots. An aquarium in Europe is celebrating the birth of a little baby dolphin.
And they're sharing, of course, adorable video of the new addition. Well, this is the 6th dolphin calf to join the dolphinarium, as it's called, in the past 2 years. Center officials say she's healthy and happily swimming along with her mother. She made her public debut yesterday.
Cute little dolphin there. All right, back home here, we're dealing with some heat this July 4th weekend, Scott Paget.
And no doubt that that little one will definitely have a life of porpoise.
Oh, man. It's a good thing it's a holiday weekend. It's a good thing it's a holiday weekend. You're getting a pass.
Oh, I'm not gonna. That's a good dad joke, and y'all can use it this weekend as well. As we take a look at what's going on, all moms and dads are there, and just really celebrating with your families. And there's a little bit of rain activity that's out there. We have one now shower and storm that's developing just north of Wichita Falls. That is working its way off towards the east, just a touch, kind of just drifting its way around. Just now developing, working its way east northeast, and you notice just over the state line, up in parts of Oklahoma, more thunderstorm activity popping up, where there's a severe thunderstorm watch up well north of us. Here in North Texas, we are remaining very warm and dry. We saw a little bit of shower activity out to the west. We topped out around 94 to 95. Our average high this time of the year should be 94 degrees. So maybe heading out to Lake Lavon there in Wiley, 90 degrees, feeling like 100. At DFW, it is 93, feeling like 102. 92 in Dallas, feeling like 99, and 94 in Fort Worth, feeling like 104. And that's going to be the story the next couple of days. That feels like temperature in the triple digits. So you definitely need to stay hydrated, definitely take some breaks in the shade and you can, or in that water, and cool yourself on down, because it's going to be a warm holiday forecast for you. 92 right now in South Lake, holding on. It is 90 in Weatherford to 92 in Allen, 87 in McKinney to 89 in Sanger. And on the wide view across the state, you can see in North Texas, at least 93 in Graham. A little bit of cloud cover from some leftover storms that died out. You see that storm, as we talked about, just north of Wichita Falls. It's 87 in McKinney right now to 90 in Mineola. So when you factor in the humidity, it feels like 100 in Denton to 104 in Fort Worth to 102 in Waxahachie to 99 right now in Tyler. So it's going to be a pretty warm evening for us. The July 4th fireworks forecast, if you're going to be heading on out tonight, as we talked about, for Kaboom Town in Addison, right around 9:30, 89 degrees with partly cloudy skies, and it is going to be warm and humid. Going into tomorrow, we're going to be seeing, again, tonight temperatures cooling their way on down into the upper 70s. And then for tomorrow, we're going to be seeing temperatures warming to 96 with rain chances at 20%. And tomorrow night also at 20%. And this is the breakdown for tomorrow through the Metroplex, 20% to 30% off towards the north. And the 7-day forecast shows that we have rain chances sitting at 20% also through Thursday. By the end of the week, dropping down to 10%, but temperatures near 100 Saturday and Sunday.
Life of purpose wasn't that bad, Scott.
Okay.
I take that back. Porpoise. An officer who found a boy in horrific conditions, terribly abused, did more than just save his life.
He changed his life. Their heartwarming story next.
Join the thousands of Texas drivers who have their auto insurance through AAA.
I didn't know how easy it was to just switch auto insurance.
The amount of money I was saving was staggering. After comparing a few other rates, it was clear that AAA was our best place to be.
As a AAA Texas member, you could save an average of $396 a year. Compare that to State Farm, Geico, or Allstate. You could save even more with AAA discounts.
We have the multi-car discount, the multi-policy discount.
We save quite a bit of money by keeping everything we can with AAA.
Best of all, get the service we're famous for and peace of mind.
My reaction was, wow. I could not believe how much money I was saving when I switched over to AAA.
I definitely feel I can rely on AAA no matter what the circumstances.
At AAA Texas, my job is to help you get more AAA out of your AAA card, and that starts with great savings on auto insurance.
Call 888-293-2410. AAA Texas. So easy, so smart, so switch.
It's time for Fort Worth Magazine's 2017 Top Chef Challenge. 4 of Fort Worth's finest chefs will compete to see who will be crowned this year's Top Chef. July 13th at River Ranch Stockyards. Get tickets at FWTX.com.
Look at these. They're valuable rooms-to-go coupons in your newspaper. Good July 1st through July 4th. Coupons that save you big money on great-looking furniture. 4 days only. This Saturday through Tuesday at Rooms to Go. So find them and bring them along. Save a ton of extra money and look for the incredibly low interest-free monthly payments throughout the store. I'm talking really low. So buying's easier than ever. That's July 1st through Tuesday, July 4th. 4 great days to shop Rooms to Go. Get extra savings with bonus coupons.
All across America, more people are choosing Nissan. It's America's best sales event at Nissan, the fastest growing auto brand in the USA. Take on every day and save up to $3,250 on the 2017 Rogue, or save up to $5,300 on Altima. Get to your local Nissan dealer today.
TV's #1 new comedy is serving up the laughs. Kevin Can Wait, CBS tonight.
Assuming that you come clean, the better.
You know how to stop the hybrids.
Soon, new episode, CBS Thursday.
What to eat, what to do, what to see. So many choices, but the CBS local app can help.
With Eat, See, Play, you'll find the best restaurants, shows, and events for the whole family all in one place.
Download the CBS local app for iPhone and Android.
An Oklahoma police officer goes above and beyond to give a little boy a much better life.
And that boy now calls that officer Dad.
What was the moment that you knew that this was your son?
When I seen him in that house, I knew.
Poto patrolman Jody Thompson adopted now 10-year-old John. In 2015, the officer took the boy to the hospital and waited by his side as he recovered in the intensive care unit. Investigators say John was bound in a barrel, starved, and they believe at the hands of his own biological parents. Now John's a straight-A student, and he's in the Gifted and Talented program.
He was helpful to me. He's the reason I'm here right now.
Officer Thompson's family was already growing. Days after bringing John home, he found out his wife was expecting their 3rd child. 7 months later, John's biological mother gave birth in jail to a baby girl, and the Thompsons took her in as well.
So we picked her up at the hospital. She was barely 24 hours old and brought her home.
Poto Police Officer Stephen Fruin says the community will benefit from hearing this officer's story.
All of us sit back and say that we would do the same in that situation, but to come through with it and to do that, that's the measure of a man, I think. Great police officer, very good police officer.
Officer Thompson says that he's amazed every day at the kid that John's become, and he says he's very proud of him.
They called him a very good police officer. I'd say he's also a hero in so many ways.
A great human being. Well, thank you so much for watching CBS 11 News, the ones for Texas.
Life is good. And at Robeson Ranch, a Robeson Resort community for active adults, it just keeps getting better. Come join us for our 4th of July celebration event. Discover stunning models featuring innovative designs. Enjoy complimentary food, giveaways, and a patriotic parade. Plus, discover the exceptional resort-style amenities. Visit robeson.com/event for details and times. Robeson Ranch, a life as big as Texas.
Introducing the new Sleep Number 360 Smart Bed. The only bed smart enough to change sleep as we know it. It senses your every move and automatically adjusts on both sides to keep you comfortable. And snoring? Does your bed do that? Right now, save on Sleep Number 360 Smart Beds. Plus, it's the lowest prices of the season with savings of $500 on a most popular P5 bed. And Sunday.
Papa John's $7 deal is a huge hit. Everybody loves $7 pizzas every game day. Must be the season of 7.
Papa John's and Pudge, two legends teaming up for the Let's Go Rangers deal. Large one-topping pizzas for just $7 every Rangers game day.
Better ingredients, better pizza. Papa John's, official pizza of your Texas Rangers.
Look at these. They're valuable rooms-to-go coupons in your newspaper. Good July 1st through July 4th. Coupons that save you big money on great-looking furniture. 4 days only. This Saturday through Tuesday at Rooms to Go. So find them and bring them along. Save a ton of extra money and look for the incredibly low interest-free monthly payments throughout the store. I'm talking really low. So buying's easier than ever. That's July 1st through Tuesday, July 4th. 4 great days to shop Rooms to Go. Get extra savings with bonus coupons.
Celebrate the 4th with a day of fun, food, and fireworks. Join CBS 11 and TXA 21 for the Frisco Freedom Fest July 4th. Party in the Plaza kicks off at 4, followed by a fireworks extravaganza after the FC Dallas match.
Live from Dallas and Fort Worth, this is CBS 11 News at 5, the ones for Texas.
Right now at 5 o'clock, Dallas police sorting out what happened this afternoon at a North Dallas hotel.
SWAT officers moving in on the hotel as guests are told to remain inside their rooms. Our Andrea Lucia live now at the scene. Andrea, what are police telling you?
Well, Dallas police are confirming that they have a suspect in a shooting here at the Wyndham Dallas Hotel in custody. Now, we do have video of him being walked out in handcuffs. He did not appear to have any injuries. A guest who was taking shelter inside during all of this says he saw police drag that man out of a room here in the hotel by his hands and feet. Now, minutes before officers exited with that suspect, paramedics brought out another man on a stretcher and put him in an ambulance. Police say that person was shot but had non-life-threatening injuries. We are still waiting for an update from police on exactly what happened. We do know at least one guest said it started around 2 o'clock this afternoon with a loud pop, pop. Some guests were evacuated during all this. Others were asked to lock their doors and stay inside with an announcement by the hotel warning them of an active shooter situation. Those guests are finally being allowed outside, and we've seen some of them out here in front of the hotel. But again, we're still waiting from police to find out exactly what happened. Reporting live in Dallas, Andrea Lucia, CBS 11 News.